because we think we're sort of cool and that stuff isn't that important. And to me, it relates more deeply about it how we feel inside of our body. But the story I keep thinking of is, this goes back about 14 years ago. I had my first job. I was living in the East Village of New York, 7th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue, if anybody knows the East Village. And I had my first big corporate training job. And I cleaned up pretty well, so I looked dressed up. I was sort of down to here at the time. I had my glasses, and of course I was well groomed. And this was like the first week that I was walking down the streets, dressed up, take the subway. And from one of the windows that I was passing, somebody yelled at me and said, "Yuppie skunk." Okay, I kept walking. Now, what was interesting, in this work, I was constantly assessed. I was constantly evaluated every week. And I did very well from the beginning, so that was great, except for this comment. Like once a month, somebody would write down, and it was always the same things. Achim needs a haircut. Just kidding. They always said, just kidding. And you knew they weren't kidding. They wrote it down, right? And I realized for every person that wrote it down, there were probably 4 other people who were even more bothered by my haircut. And I got the message and I cut my hair. It wasn't important enough for me to keep the long hair. But it's all that stuff, you know, that gets played out. And I know we all think about image, but it goes deep. It goes about how we feel inside. I remember one of the hardest jobs I sometimes get hired to do is I work for one of those big holding companies that have 40, 50 other operating companies, and once in a while they decide to sell them. And if you were on that team, you have to then put together a presentation to sell yourself to a buyer, even though you don't necessarily want to be bought. And I remember coaching a team like that. It's brutal because you're being sold against your will, and you have to really sell yourself to somebody who wants to buy you. And we had a really good rehearsal, and I helped them with a story and a message. And the last thing the CEO of his team said, so what are we going to wear when we do these presentations? And somebody said, we're going to wear a sports coat. And all hell erupted. Because the team said, we are not wearing sport coats. We're not going to be fake. We don't wear sports coats at work. I'm not going to do that. So it was a symbol for a lot of other stuff, wasn't it? And it was very powerful, you know, and realizing how these things matter and about how we show up. If this interests you, I mean, I write about it in my second book, but I can have a private chat with you afterwards. I want to just share with you, I'm going to skip something here.